Iron Galaxy Studios is going down in flames. Yet another studio being hit by the woke mind virus and falling apart at the seams as we speak, announcing a layoff of 66 employees because times are getting tough and woke slop isn't selling anymore. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Wrote this article up over on smashjt.com, titled it "Another Woke Slop Studio Goes Down in Flames." And this is a studio that I talked about previously on a live stream, and it was so curious enough to me that it made me want to dive into it even further and find out more. Because what is the deal with these studios and the people they've been hiring, and how have they been able to exist for so long? Especially when you dive into the back catalog of games that they've worked on and you realize there's nothing here. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the whole article talking about Iron Galaxy Studios and their ultimate collapse. But in this video, I wanted to touch on some of the main takeaways that I got from researching the studio and why they ultimately are failing. Iron Galaxy Studios, the once at best mediocre studio that had been consistently propped up by industry trends rather than any kind of actual talent, is now facing a harsh reality, discovering its own failures. In a post filled with the usual corporate doublespeak, they announced that it had been forced to lay off 66 employees, citing, of course, the industry's significant changes and slow recovery, aka, yeah, we're not actually doing anything that anybody wants to buy, and the money has dried up, and we can't keep paying people. Iron Galaxy wasn't a victim of market shifts at all. They were a victim of their own poor decisions that led them to the spot in the first place, with DEI-driven hiring practices that always prioritized identity politics over the actual game development process. And I did cover this situation previously. I will link this in the description below as well on my live stream. And this is what I was talking about in the open, where I was like, this rabbit hole goes so deep that I wanted to make a follow-up video on additional things I found out after that live stream about just how bad this company really was. Iron Galaxy put out a post on their official website talking about the layoffs and how they got to this position. And I want to just point out some specific things they said as my main takeaways from this. First off, they said, for several years now, we have watched our industry undergo significant change. So many of our friends and colleagues who work in game development have suffered a series of painful adjustments. We've seen talented people lose their jobs. Inspiring companies have closed their doors. Our own game, Rumbleverse, was met with a premature sunset. And honestly, when I read this paragraph, the only thing I can come out of it with is they're making up excuses for their lack of ability to create a good, talented game that people want to play. And in its place, they made something that they saw another company do, tried to copy that idea and do their own game with it, and think that, oh, since a battle royale game is working for Fortnite, then we can do that same thing, and people will buy our game in droves too, and we'll make infinite money too, because that's what gamers want. More of the same stuff that they're already playing. What could possibly go wrong? Iron Galaxy Studios has somehow had a hand in over 80 combined titles, contributing to game development in multiple capacities, whether it was developing their original IPs, co-developing major franchises, or even providing support to some seriously high-profile projects. On top of the Rumbleverse game that I just talked about, they also had a hand in seasons of 2, 3 of Killer Instinct, the game that a lot of people picked up on initially when that first came out, and then it died out very quickly. Other titles they've worked on are like Extinction, the critically panned action game, Dive Kick, a niche fighting game parody. And beyond their own creations, they've co-developed a lot of ports and remasters like Skyrim, Crash Bandicoot N, Sane Trilogy, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, and on top of that, they've even assisted on development of games like Overwatch, Diablo 3, and Fallout 76 with UI implementation and other nooks and crannies and trinkets that they could assist on. And when I dive into this company, I'm like, were they just hired on by these bigger studios to add to their DEI and have them in the credits of the game to pump their ESG score up higher? Because honestly, I don't see any other reason why they'd be involved. Instead of focusing on making compelling games, Iron Galaxy was too busy ensuring their team checked all the right diversity boxes while trying to copy formulas other companies saw success in the past with. They finished up their statement stating, "Today, Iron Galaxy is parting ways with some of our developers and support staff. In total, we have reduced our employee base by 66 people. This was a means of last resort for us. It's a measure we do not take lightly to enable our long term survival." And when I read through that, I'm like, yeah, this is a stopgap measure right now. But if you don't have anything coming down the pipe that would be successful for your company, everyone will be laid off eventually. Now, these 66 people were let go out of the around 230, 240 people that were listed on LinkedIn. So I would imagine they are somewhere around 170 to 200 employees at this point in time right now, with the estimates that I could come up with based off of this information. That's a lot of people working at a company without much really bringing any income in. And if you need a visual representation as to why Iron Galaxy failed, look no further than Dave Lang, the studio's founder and former CEO. This is Dave's LinkedIn profile picture that I found during the live stream the other day. And I was like, okay, even if this guy's like trying to be funny and quirky and this is part of his personality, making that your LinkedIn profile picture, I don't know, as an employee would send me a signal of, is this company even serious? This is the dude that's running it. I'm going to trust my life, my family, my paycheck to that. Okay. From the outside looking in, it's not the greatest look. I mean, I got to be honest. And then when you dive further and you see how he talked about how he was the former CEO, but now he's just the founder, and that he's replaced himself with a woman as the CEO, which is Chelsea Blasco. Her LinkedIn banner that I found should tell you all you need to know about what we're dealing with the CEO of Iron Galaxy with the rainbow flag as the banner. Shocking, I know, but it gets even crazier. DEI was their focus, not making good games. Here we have a press release from all the way back in 2021. Following the George Floyd riots, we see a lot of this stuff that was starting to happen. Reg S. Marshall joins Iron Galaxy Studios as Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Access Program Manager. And apparently that's a woman. Okay. One of the most telling signs of Iron Galaxy's inevitable demise was its overt focus on DEI rather than making great games. You know, what a game company should be in business to do. Many of these companies over the past 5 years or so forgot that the whole point of the company was to sell games to make money and instead turned into a front for, okay, let's just be a DEI firm and hire a bunch of DEI hires, check all these boxes, and then get all our money in low interest loans from BlackRock and Vanguard, and everything's great. We don't even need to make a good game. We'll just get a grant from the federal government. We'll have US aid sponsor us. It didn't even have anything to do with making games anymore. From that press release, they said, "Our leadership team is incredibly focused on hiring diverse staff and creating an environment at Iron Galaxy where everyone can be their authentic selves so that we attract the best talent in the business," which apparently the best talent in the business being attracted is diversity, not the highest quality, highest merit ranking person. It's, oh, your skin color is different. You're going to be the best person for this job. It's a wild approach that I think in hindsight, a decade or two from now, we'll look back at this period and say, how was that even a thing? And how did it last as long as it did? At least, I don't know, I'd like to dream that's where we get to at some point with this stuff. They even have an entire page on their website dedicated to this garbage, the DEIA section. And it says, "Our commitment. Video games are a product of the people who create them. We believe that diversity is an essential to the success of companies like ours. Iron Galaxy is committed to improving our industry with inclusive development processes. This crucial initiative also improves representation in the final product, helping us to create worlds that are welcoming to players," which we've already seen time and time again, that this inclusivity just means female and gay and black. It doesn't mean let's have white people or straight people. Nope. It's everything except those things. Highlighting voices that aren't merit based, but instead others that check boxes. Some of our people have shared their perspectives on our efforts to create a healthy, comfortable, and diverse work environment that allows everyone to thrive doing what they love. These are their stories. And we got Chelsea Blasco, the co-CEO. We got Rajesh Marshall, the DEIA program manager, which apparently, again, that's a woman. And we got Keenan Moralix for the community manager, which we all know, if you've been in this industry long enough, the community managers are typically the downfall of a company. They're the person that connects directly with the gamers, and they're very typically hateful and spiteful individuals, at least the ones that I've been dealing with. This goes into an entire section promoting these people and pushing them forward and putting them on a pedestal over merit-based people, pushing pride parades and gay and female and women empowerment and black voices. I think they forgot about making a video game somewhere along the way. Notice how there's no mention of hiring the most skilled developers, just diverse ones. Who needs merit when you have skin color? When a company prioritizes identity over merit, you get disasters like Rumbleverse and ultimately layoffs. Rajesh Marshall herself summed it up perfectly, saying, "As a black queer woman, I understand how intersecting identities can create workplace barriers, preventing upward mobility. By addressing pay inequity, retention of diverse employees, and employee support, I look forward to continuing to build an environment where everyone truly feels valued," which is just a bunch of gobbledygook for, hey, I got a job. Can you guys pay me? And I'll just keep pushing forward this whole ideology that apparently is on the docket for the WEF, because that's what we're doing here. I mean, I guess you could say the mission was accomplished with this because the DEI policies were so successful that now 66 people are out of a job and the company is fighting for survival. Is anyone really surprised? Iron Galaxy's downfall was 100% completely predictable. If this was a company that I'd heard of previously in the past going into the situation, I honestly would have made a video saying, I can't believe that this company is still functioning at full 100% capacity of people and still hiring because they don't have any products that they're outputting that people want to buy. So here we have the result of that, and it's not shocking whatsoever. The company, of course, claims that they're still committed to serving their partners in creation of games, but after this debacle, who'd even want to work with them? Their track record is filled with failures, games no one cared about, and their leadership, at least from the outside looking in, comes across to me as a complete embarrassment and tone deaf of what reality actually is. Their priorities have been entirely misplaced altogether, and the only thing shocking about Iron Galaxy's implosion is honestly that it took this long to happen and that they only let 66 people go so far. I'm interested to see what happens next with them because honestly, without a product to sell, it doesn't look like it's going to be around for much longer. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for this full article. I will link it in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash Smash J.